An Author's Voice, Episode 1 from the Technical Workshop. I'm Charlie Fourette. If you've been here a while, you come to this show for craft. How a scene turns, why a chapter ends where it does, the sentence-level stuff. This one's a detour from that, and I want to say so up front. For the last few months, I haven't been building scenes. I've been building software. I got tired of renting my readers from a pile of tools that had never so much as opened one of my books. So I built my own publishing platform, and I'm going to spend a handful of these workshop episodes pulling it apart in the open. Here's why it still belongs on a show for writers. Owning your audience, your list, your store, the path a reader actually walks to your books, is a writing career skill, even when it wears an engineer's clothes. If that's not what you came for, no hard feelings. The craft episodes come right back next time. If it is, pull up a chair. This first one is the why I stopped renting my readers. Last spring I clicked the most important button on my own website and hit a locked door. The button said, "Read free stories." I put it front and center, the thing I most wanted a new reader to press. I pressed it myself, pretending to be a stranger. It dropped me on a membership login. My free story wanted a password. Fine. Bug. I'll fix it. Except I couldn't. Not in one place. The button lived in WordPress. The story lived behind a membership plugin that gated it by default. The email capture that was supposed to fire lived in MailerLite. And the link a reader clicked to get there in the first place came from a link tree I updated by hand. 4 logins to unbreak one promise. I sat there with 4 browser tabs open and realized I didn't actually own the path a reader walked from curious to hooked. I rented it, in pieces, from companies that had never read my books. That was the morning I decided to build my own. Here's what ran Charlie Fourette a year ago. WordPress for the blog and book pages, MailerLite for the email list and the welcome automations, Virally for scheduling social posts, Linktree for the one link in every bio, a membership plugin bolted onto WordPress to gate patron content, Amazon for the actual selling, and a growing pile of notes about eventually putting the serial on Royal Road and Substack too. Amazon is the one that stings. It's where the books actually move, and it's the tool that owns the reader most completely. Someone buys my novel, loves it, wants more, and Amazon knows exactly who they are. I don't. I get a sales number and a payout. No name, no email, no way to reach them when the next book lands. My author central page can't even link out to my own site or newsletter. It's a storefront where the landlord keeps the customer list and won't let you post your address in the window. I built the audience, and Amazon keeps the names. Every one of those tools is fine. Some are genuinely good, but stack them up and you get a machine nobody designed. The blurb for my trilogy lived on one page. The bylinks lived on a different page. Those 2 pages didn't link to each other, so the reader I just convinced to want the book had nowhere to go. My best sales copy and my actual store were strangers, and none of it could do the thing I most wanted, which was to make the story itself do something. A book page that just sits there as a poster. I write systems, characters trapped inside them, worlds with rules you can poke at. I wanted a reader to poke. WordPress can fake that with enough plugins if you enjoy babysitting plugins. I did not. So the real problem wasn't any single tool. It was that I owned words and rented everything that carried them to a reader. Own the words, rent the readers. That's backwards for a working author, and it gets more backwards every year. I'm a developer by background, so build it was on the table in a way it isn't for everyone. Still, building your own content system is the kind of decision you're supposed to talk yourself out of. I talked myself into it instead, in April, with a first commit that said, "Initial project scaffold with dev container and design spec," and absolutely no idea it would still be going strong at 814 commits. I picked Elixir and the Phoenix framework. A few reasons, and none of them are that it's trendy, because it isn't. Phoenix has a thing called Live View. It lets me build live, interactive pages, a quiz that reacts, a character sheet that fills itself in, a stat screen that updates, without standing up a separate JavaScript app to do it. For one person maintaining everything, cutting an entire front-end codebase out of the plan was the whole ballgame. One language, top to bottom. Elixir also runs a lot of things at once without falling over. An author platform is boring most of the day and then sends 1,000 emails in a minute when a chapter drops. That shape suits the tool. And I wanted to own the boring, load-bearing parts too. The database is Postgres, sitting on a machine I control. Background jobs run on Open. Payments go straight through Stripe to my account. Email sends through my own domain. The files download from my own storage. The whole thing deploys to a single host in Virginia for less than what the old subscriptions cost me stacked together. When something breaks now, I open one editor, not 4 dashboards. That's the pitch I made to myself. It mostly held up. The parts where it didn't are going to be their own pieces, because the failures are more useful than the wins. One codebase runs 2 live websites. IntegrationEra.com, the terminal blue home of my Integration Era lit RPG world, and CharlieForte.com, the warmer front door to everything else I write, across every genre. Same engine, 2 completely different faces, and each one keeps its own readers behind its own locked door. A year ago, those were a WordPress install and a pile of intentions. The reader who lands there now gets a real path, a free story that's actually free. A book page with the buy button on the same page as the blurb. Imagine that. A newsletter that greets you in the voice of whatever pulled you in. A world you can click into instead of just read about. And under the hood, analytics that tell me which of those actually worked. So I stop guessing. None of that is finished. A platform is never finished, which I've made peace with, but the spine is in, and the spine is the point of this whole series. Own the stack, own the reader. This is the first of 8 pieces pulling the machine apart in public. The problems, the shape of the fix, the code where code is interesting, and the parts that broke on the way. The failures get equal airtime, running 2 brands off one codebase without leaking one into the other. Getting off MailerLite without losing a single subscriber. Selling books direct instead of handing every reader and every margin to a retailer. Turning a static book page into a world you can play inside. Giving readers a reason to come back between releases. And escaping WordPress without torching 5 years of Google rankings, which is the thing that keeps most people trapped. If you write, or you build, or you just like watching someone take apart the machine they depend on, that's the tour. If you're here for the fiction, start with the free story. It's free now. I checked. That's the first one from the workshop. The whole reason I built any of it was to put a story in your hands with nobody standing in between. So if you take one thing from this episode, make it the free one. There's a story on the site right now, actually free, no password. The link's in the show notes, along with a written version if you'd rather read it than hear it. I'll bring more from the workshop when there's something worth telling, and the craft episodes carry on in between. Thanks for listening to An Author's Voice. This episode is copyright 2026, Charlie Forte. All rights reserved. This recording is for personal listening only and may not be reproduced, distributed, or used in any other form without permission. Voices in the recording provided by Speechify. If you'd like to share it, send someone the link. That works fine.